Right after the final standardized tests, my then-girlfriend stood in front of a news reporter. The reporter asked her, "So, what are you planning to do now that the exams are over?" Beth looked straight at Michael, the most popular boy in our entire high school, and she yelled, "Michael, be my boyfriend!" Meanwhile, my phone buzzed with a message from her, sent just 3 minutes earlier. The text read, "We should break up. You're simply not good enough for me. Also, you didn't even show up for the test, did you?" The truth was, the only reason I didn't take the test was because I had already received early admission to the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. I was standing right outside the testing center, and I was completely speechless, watching as Beth held hands with Michael, the well-known campus heartthrob. They were talking cheerfully with the reporter who had come over, and the reporter asked them, "Are you two actually a couple now?" "We weren't before, but we are now," Beth replied, giving Michael a loving smile for the camera. "We promised each other that we would concentrate on our studies until the exams were finished, and then we would get together." "That's wonderful! Congratulations! How do you think you did on the test?" the reporter asked. "It was fine," Michael said. "We pretty much went over everything. Getting into a respectable, top-tier university shouldn't be an issue for either of us." Beth linked her arm through Michael's. "We promised we would go to the same college," she told the reporter. "Wow, a real power couple of bright students. That is just fantastic," the reporter praised them, and the students gathered around looked on with obvious jealousy. Besides having good grades, Beth was truly beautiful. She was slender, had sparkling eyes, and a perfect smile. She looked like the very definition of a sweet, innocent high school girl. If she hadn't been so appealing, I wouldn't have dated her for 3 years. And Michael? He had been the most popular guy in the school since we were freshmen. Standing together like that, they seemed like the perfect match. I looked down at the breakup text on my phone and almost laughed out of sheer, raw anger. Wow, Beth. Just wow. She had found someone new immediately, and she had the nerve to say I wasn't good enough for her. Didn't take the test? Of course I didn't. Your boy got into MIT early, so why on earth would I need to take the SATs? And to think I had actually skipped sitting in my air-conditioned house on a really hot day just to come here and pick her up and take her out to celebrate. I had even made reservations at that very exclusive, members-only restaurant she had been going on and on about for days. Yeah, forget that. I watched them from a quiet corner as they played up their new relationship for the camera. Then, without a moment's hesitation, I turned around, walked away, and got into the luxury car parked near the curb. Ha! Spending my money while lining up her next boyfriend? She was really something else. "Hey, Mr. Davis, it's Alex." I told my stepdad, "Could you do me a favor and report one of my bank cards as lost?" "Yeah, that's right. A dog accidentally ran off with it." After the short call, I took one last look at the two of them, still pretending to be intimate for the reporter, and I told my driver to take us away from there. It was already past midnight when Beth finally called me. I was about to check my social media feed one last time before going to sleep when I saw a picture one of my classmates had posted from a nightclub. The caption said, "Shout out to Miss Beth for covering the entire bill tonight. She's the best." Huh. Beth came from a regular working-class family. Even if she somehow could cover that huge bill, it probably would have wiped out her savings. Not that I cared anymore. I had already blocked her number and removed her from all my contacts the minute I got home. A girl like her is okay for some casual dating, but if she was going to cheat on me, then all bets were off. I would just consider the money I had already spent on her as a charitable donation. Beth called me 18 times in a row. On the 19th call, I finally, slowly, answered the phone. "Hello?" I said, sounding completely bored. The person on the other end seemed to be hiding somewhere, and her voice was quiet but clearly filled with anger. "Alex, what is wrong with that card? Why can't I use it?" Oh, wow. Don't tell me you forgot we broke up, Beth, I replied. I'm not some kind of saint who is going to keep funding his trashy ex-girlfriend. I'm just not that kind of guy. But you? You break up with me and then have the nerve to use my card to party? You really have some serious nerve. Beth sounded like she wanted to scream at me, but it seemed like she was holding back for some reason, choking on her fury. I know you're crazy about me, and I know today was a little harsh. I'll apologize, okay? Just send me $5,000 first. $5,000? If I remembered the picture correctly, the bill for the night was probably a little more than $2,000. She was asking me for $5,000. She was likely planning another party. Sure enough, before I could even reply, I heard someone in the background shout to her, "Beth, hurry up! We're going to go get some late-night dinner." "Okay, I'll be right there." Beth quickly answered them, then turned her attention back to me. "Just send me the money. Stop delaying. We can talk about everything else tomorrow." "Talk tomorrow? Get lost," I hissed. I slammed the phone down and set her number to auto-reject. Then I tossed my phone aside and had a great night's sleep. The next morning, I was woken up by a call from my best friend, Chris. "What's up? Shouldn't you be sleeping in until noon now that the tests are over? Why are you calling so early?" "Dude, are you still sleeping?" Chris sounded shocked. "The class group chat is completely blowing up. Beth is telling everyone that you scammed her for money and that you were bullying her. You need to see this now." "Me? I scammed her for money? That was so ridiculous it instantly woke me up. I need to scam her for money? That is hilarious. My dad gives me millions of dollars a year in dividends just for spending money, and I'm supposed to be scamming Beth?" Chris was furious. "Just go look at the group chat. I'm in there tearing her a new one right now." After hanging up, I opened our class group chat. Exams had just finished, so we hadn't started moving records or anything, which is why I was still in it. The first thing I saw was Chris completely going after everyone, arguing with maximum force. I slowly scrolled up to get the full story. Everyone in the class pretty much knew that Beth and I had been dating for 3 years, even though we kept it low-key. Some classmates had seen the interview right after the exams yesterday, and one of the class gossips had started asking questions in the chat. "Hey Beth, weren't you with Alex? How come you're suddenly with Michael? When did you two break up?" I figured someone would ask that. If Beth hadn't responded, I would have just pretended I was blind, made up some excuse, and moved on. It's not like we would see each other at the same college anyway. But that awful Beth actually claimed that she was never interested in me and only dated me because I threatened to kill myself if she didn't agree. She even faked some pictures of cut wrists she must have found online. She wrote, "We were all classmates back then, and I was scared he would actually do something, so I just agreed to be with him. But then he got even worse. He was always crying to me about how his dad remarried and his stepdad was mean and wouldn't give him any allowance. For 3 years, he was constantly asking me for money to buy stuff. She even attached some screenshots of purchase orders. Everyone was shocked. I can't believe Alex is that kind of person. Seriously, we're just students. How could he have the nerve to ask for a watch that costs thousands of dollars? He gets driven everywhere and wears expensive designer clothes. I thought he was such a big shot. I knew his grades were bad, but for his character to be this awful? You really can't judge a book by its cover." I'd say the same thing about that horrible Beth. I looked at how Beth had used just a few sentences to paint me as some lazy freeloader who sponged off her, while making herself look like some kind of saint. So I fought back with screenshots of all the designer purses, expensive shoes, and custom-made dresses I had bought for her, and I posted them right there in the chat. Just because I don't say anything doesn't mean people can just spread lies about me. A watch that costs a few $1,000s? It was an honor for her that I even accepted it. And those pictures are hilarious. I don't know where you found a photo of such a chubby hand, but don't you dare compare it to mine. Also, are the attention seekers at the bottom blind? After all the snacks you begged off me over the years, you'd better spit them all out. The students who had jumped on the bandwagon to trash me were pretty much all of Beth's best friends, who were always hanging around her and getting free food and drinks. And I was the one who bought all of Beth's snacks, afraid she would be too tired from studying to eat properly. I only bought her imported, delicious, energy-boosting snacks that wouldn't make her gain weight. I threw the receipts for the snacks up there, too. You've been begging for food off her every single day. Don't you even know who was actually paying for everything? The chat went completely silent. No one dared to say a single word. The pictures and text I posted remained front and center. An unknown number called me. I didn't recognize it, but I answered anyway. Alex, what in the world are you doing? Delete those messages from the group chat right now. It was that awful Beth. I had blocked her number, so she used a different one. Who do you think you're calling trash? I'm crazy? You're the gold digger. I practically rolled my eyes. Alex, how can you talk like that? You gave me those things willingly. It's not like I forced you, Beth said, trying to soften her tone, attempting to sweet-talk me like she used to. Even though we broke up, we can still be friends. Why make things so ugly for everyone? Let's both take a step back. You go into the group chat and clarify that you forced all that stuff on me and I never wanted it. Her scheming was so obvious, it was practically hitting me in the face. Do you think I'm an idiot? You're the one who needs to go clarify things. Otherwise, I'll make you regret it. I had no time for this foolish person. After saying my piece, I hung up and blocked her new number. There's no such thing as a secret that stays hidden forever, especially when the screenshots I posted were all real. I don't know who it was, but someone eventually told Michael, the campus heartthrob, what was going on. A friend request popped up on my phone. I raised an eyebrow. What now? Are they all coming at me one by one? Still, I accepted the request. A message came through immediately. Hi, Alex. I'm Michael. I heard you used to date Beth. Would you mind telling me when you two broke up? I was a little surprised. Michael was being so polite. I thought he was coming to pick a fight for Beth. Yesterday, I replied. I also took a screenshot of the breakup text Beth sent me and forwarded it to him. He was quiet for a while before typing a few more words. Are you free right now? Could we meet up and talk? Maybe at the coffee shop across from school? Sure. I had nothing better to do anyway. I dressed up a little and put on the limited edition watch Mr. Davis had given me a while back. Mr. Davis is my stepdad. My biological parents divorced years ago. Unlike the complicated rich family drama people often imagine, there was no affair or cheating involved. Their marriage was just a business agreement. They had planned to split up nicely once their companies were stable, but then they unexpectedly had me. After I was old enough to understand, they explained their relationship to me and made it clear that no matter their marital status, they would always be my family. My mom is a romantic who started traveling the world after the divorce. I heard she recently found a younger boyfriend in Italy. My dad, after the divorce, reconnected with his first love, Mr. Davis. They started their romance again and got married pretty quickly. Mr. Davis used to be child-free by choice, which was the reason my grandmother couldn't accept him back then, leading to his breakup with my dad. But after they got married, Mr. Davis adored me. In his words, I got a son for free. What could be better? I'd told Beth before that Mr. Davis was my stepdad, but I didn't go into details. Her attitude toward me had been great before that, but after I told her, she became a bit distant. She probably imagined some kind of dramatic family power struggle like everyone else, and thought my position as the young heir was unstable. On top of that, Ever since I got my early admission, I spent my classes either sleeping or reading over my family's business proposals. That must have made Beth think I was giving up on myself and wasn't good enough for her anymore. But honestly, even if I hadn't gotten into MIT, what if I did just stay home and live off my family? It's not like my dad couldn't afford to support me. Only trash like her, desperate to move up the social ladder by attaching herself to a man, would be in such a hurry to find a replacement. I got to the coffee shop fast and saw Michael waving me over as soon as I walked in. "I'm sorry," he said before I even had a chance to sit down and ask what he wanted. "I had no idea you were dating Beth. When I met her, she told me she was single. I even asked one of the girls in your class, and she said the same thing, that Beth was completely focused on her studies and wasn't interested in dating at all." Michael looked genuinely regretful. "Well, that explains it," I said, taking a calm sip of my iced coffee. "That girl was one of her best friends. Of course, she'd cover for her. Beth gave me gifts and confessed to me several times, but I turned her down because of the exams. I figured we'd get together after they were over." His voice grew more sad. "I really had no idea she was the type to find someone else instantly, a two-timing lowlife who was already looking for her next target." Seeing such a good-looking guy looking so upset in front of me, I couldn't help but feel a little bad for him. "It's not your fault. That lowlife is just a really good actress," I said, patting his shoulder. "Cut your losses now before anything serious happens. I just feel really bad about what happened to you. If I had been more careful and asked a few more people, this wouldn't have happened. How could someone be this nice?" His first thought was to apologize, and he was handsome and kind. No, it's really not your fault. In fact, I should thank you for helping me see her for the trash she is." After we had cleared the air, before we left, Michael even sent me the chat logs of Beth confessing to him and his rejections, showing how persistent she was. "I think you might be able to use these. Thanks for your time today." We waved goodbye. Seeing it was still early, I called Chris and asked him to go shopping with me at the mall. I waited at the mall for over an hour before Chris finally showed up, practically bouncing with excitement. "Dude, seriously, it's like a 15-minute drive from your place. What took you so long?" I handed him a bubble tea. "Drink up. The ice is melting." "Bro, you will not believe what just happened." Chris immediately dragged me over to a nearby coffee shop to sit down. "Michael just slapped Beth, like, right now." "Huh? Didn't Michael just leave me? And also, how do you know? Who told you?" "Who told me? I saw it happen." Chris gestured wildly as he described the scene. "I ran into Michael and Beth on my way here. I don't know what they were talking about on the sidewalk, but Michael slapped her, gave her back all the gifts she'd given him, and told her they were finished. It was right there on the street. Tons of people saw it." Chris was ecstatic, as if he had been the one to land the slap. "She deserved it, that lowlife. And get this, I heard that last night Beth was bragging about treating everyone. But when it was time to pay, she claimed that since she was underage, she couldn't make a card payment over $500, and she didn't have any cash. In the end, her friends had to pool their money to pay the bill. Otherwise, the club wasn't going to let them leave." I had to laugh. It wasn't an online transfer. What kind of weak excuse is being underage for a credit card transaction over $500? "But, so you were late because you were standing there watching all the drama?" Seeing my angry look, Chris quickly begged for mercy. "Hey, gossiping is human nature. All right. I'll treat you to some barbecue. Don't be mad." That was more like it. I nodded in satisfaction. The interview video from after the exams was still up on video sites, and unaware internet users were still praising the brilliant couple. But word had already spread through the school that the campus heartthrob had dumped Beth. A few bystanders even posted videos of the incident. "Chris, you didn't post this video, did you?" The moment I saw the video on the school's online forum, I knew. Chris looked proud. Of course I did. Who else would? That lowlife's true colors needed to be exposed. People in our class were already starting to message Beth privately. I don't know how she responded. With the exams over, I took a few friends on a week-long vacation. By the time we got back, the test results were out. The school held an awards ceremony and called us all back. It had only been a little over 2 weeks since I had last been at school, but it felt like a lifetime ago. I was surprised to find myself feeling a little sentimental for the days of studying hard. Chris gave me a look of disbelief. While the rest of us were studying, you already had your early admission and were just reading random books in class every day. You have the nerve to talk about studying hard? Hey, I was just feeling sentimental, I said, scratching my head. When I walked into our classroom, I could feel the atmosphere become awkward the second I entered. It was like a drop of water hitting a hot oil pan. I just didn't belong. Beth, sitting in the middle, surrounded by people, looked as vibrant as ever. It was as if being dumped by the most popular guy in school hadn't affected her at all. I heard Beth has a new boyfriend already, Chris whispered in my ear. Apparently, he's a senior in college. Wow, she's amazing. She doesn't even know what college she's going to, and she's already found a college guy to date. How can someone be such a lowlife? Chris couldn't help but feel angry for me. No need to get angry. We're broken up. I'll just put it down to me being blind before, I said, ending up comforting him instead. When our homeroom teacher came in, everyone was back in their seats. Mr. Lee seemed different than usual, standing at the podium with a cheerful energy. I'm sure you all know your scores by now. Everyone did quite well this time. Our college acceptance rate is the highest it's ever been. Mr. Lee was thrilled. After all, the more students who got into college, the bigger his bonus. And I have one more piece of news to share. Let's all congratulate Alex on his early admission to MIT. As soon as Mr. Lee said that, the class erupted. Mr. Lee, when did this happen? Why are you only telling us now? Mr. Lee rubbed his shiny forehead. Actually, Alex was accepted into MIT back in his junior year through an international competition. We just didn't announce it to avoid disrupting the study atmosphere for everyone else. But now that the exams are over, and since Alex is the only student from our school going to MIT, I think a little celebration is in order. At this, Mr. Lee sighed a little. I've seen the paper from Alex's competition. His problem-solving methods were incredibly innovative. If he had taken the SATs, he probably would have been the top scorer in the state. The class instantly buzzed with excitement. Mr. Lee rarely praised anyone, so for him to say that meant it was a really big deal. I can't believe Alex was hiding his talent all this time. He never seemed to do his homework in class, so I just thought he was a slacker. Turns out I was the slacker all along. Everyone was marveling, except for one person whose face had turned pale. It was Beth. She was looking at me with a very strange expression, a mix of resentment, anger, and a hint of regret. Of course. The reason she gave for dumping me was that I wasn't good enough for her and didn't even go to the exams, but I couldn't be bothered with any of that. I nicely accepted my classmates' congratulations and then turned down Mr. Lee's invitation to represent the school in an interview. But you're the only one from our graduating class who got into MIT. It would be such a waste not to show you off. Mr. Lee tried to convince me. It's not necessary, really, I said, waving my hand. I didn't even take the final exams, so there's nothing really to interview me about. Just let the valedictorian do it. Well, if you don't want to, then that's fine. I won't force you. Mr. Lee smiled. Beth did pretty well, too. She didn't get into MIT or Harvard, but if she wants, she could get into a good top-tier university in Boston without much trouble. Mr. Lee knew Beth and I had dated, but since we were discreet, and it didn't affect our studies. He had ignored it. We broke up a while ago, sir. I found the video of Beth's interview and showed it to him. She thought I was a lost cause who didn't even bother with the exams. She said I wasn't good enough for her. Mr. Lee watched the video and was silent for a long moment. She always seemed like such an honest girl. Oh well, you've gotten into a great university anyway. You'll meet all kinds of outstanding girls. You just have to look forward. The teacher seemed afraid I was going to have a romantic breakdown and started counseling me, which was kind of funny. Don't worry, sir. I'm already over it. After getting the teacher off my back, I decided to skip the awards ceremony in the auditorium and was about to sneak out. But someone suddenly blocked my path, startling me. Can we talk? It was Beth. I thought for a moment. Sure. What do you want to talk about? By now, most people were in the auditorium, so the school building was pretty empty. Why didn't you tell me you had early admission? Beth's eyes were a little red as she looked at me with a very intense expression. As they say online, she could look at a dog with that much emotion. If you had told me earlier, I wouldn't have what? Wouldn't have broken up with me? I scoffed. Beth, look at what you've done. I don't even want to deal with you, and now you're coming to me, looking for a fight? You're the one who dumped me right after exams, immediately found someone else, and then spread rumors about me in the class group chat, and now you're here playing the victim? So what? What does my getting into MIT have to do with you? That's not it, Alex. That's not what I meant. Okay, stop calling me that. It's disgusting. I looked at her with hatred. I have nothing to do with you anymore. Stop bothering me. I turned to leave. Suddenly, Beth grabbed my shoulder from behind and leaned in, trying to kiss me. Does this girl think she's the main character in some dramatic teen movie? Forcing a kiss at this age is so childish. I slapped her across the face without hesitation, leaving her completely stunned. Get away from me! She looks so innocent. But how can she be so manipulative and calculating? I was truly blind. I had planned on taking another walk around the school, but now I was in no mood. I walked right out of the school gates and saw Mr. Davis pulling up in a Porsche to pick me up. What brings you here today? I thought you were sending the driver, I asked, as I got in the car and fixed my hair. I was going to attend the ceremony to show everyone how amazing my son is, but when I got there and couldn't find you, I knew you'd bailed, and if you're gone, what am I doing there? So I figured I'd just pick you up, and we can go find your dad and make him buy us dinner. Mr. Davis started the car. How about French food? No way, French food sucks. The portions are tiny, and it tastes awful. You'd be better off taking me for some good old-fashioned barbecue. That works, Mr. Davis agreed readily. A friend of mine just opened a barbecue joint. I'll give him a call. You text your dad and tell him to meet us there. You got it. Just as we were happily eating, a few guys burst into our private room and pointed at me. It's you! You're the one who made Beth so depressed, she's about to jump off a roof. And you, the campus bully, are just sitting here eating. I had a huge rib bone in my mouth and looked up, completely baffled by the guys who had just appeared out of nowhere. My dad reacted faster, calling a waiter to get them out. But the guys wouldn't leave, shouting and making a scene. Everyone come look! Come see this murderer! What in the world was going on? How could someone just barge into our private room while we were eating? Now my dad and Mr. Davis were getting angry. Their family was having a nice meal, and suddenly some random guys show up spreading rumors and causing trouble. The commotion even brought the owner out. The owner had security drag them out and told them if they kept making trouble, he'd call the police and have them arrested. The guys finally left, muttering curses under their breath. Although the owner apologized and said our meal was on the house, we had lost our appetite. Alex, what's going on? What were they saying about depression and being a murderer? Did something happen? My dad asked cautiously, afraid of upsetting me. Mr. Davis took out his phone, searched the local news, and handed me a few videos. Alex, take a look at this first. Let us know if you need our help. The video was from a security camera at school, showing my conversation with Beth earlier today. It wasn't the full video. It had obviously been edited. Beth's sad expression was captured perfectly, as was my look of indifference. My words and the slap were also included. The video was clearly edited to make it look like I was bullying her. That girl. I couldn't even be bothered with her, and she was still out there spreading rumors about me. Who else but her would be bored enough to get the school's security footage and edit it like that? There was even another video of Beth standing on the edge of a rooftop, looking dejected as if she were about to jump. Her acting was incredible. Why wasn't she a professional actress? I was shaking with anger. My dad and Mr. Davis knew a little about the situation with Beth, and seeing my reaction, they understood. I'm calling your school's principal right now and demanding the full unedited footage, my dad said, taking out his phone. How dare anyone bully someone from our family? I checked social media, and it was flooded with posts condemning me. Some internet users had even found out personal details about me. Oh, wow, no wonder he's so arrogant. Turns out he's a rich kid. So he's the young master of the Kane Corporation. I can't believe these rich people are so corrupt, using their money to bully others. Exactly. Look what he did to that poor girl. She looked so sweet and innocent. Someone had also dug up the fact that I had early admission to MIT and sent a complaint to the university, saying my character was terrible and I didn't deserve to attend. This was clearly being organized by someone behind the scenes. Otherwise, it wouldn't have blown up and attracted so many random people in just a few dozen minutes. My phone rang again. It was Beth. Hello? What do you really want? If you're trying to use these baseless accusations to force me to get back together with you, you can forget it. The voice on the other end was cold. Getting back together with the great Mr. Alex isn't something I've considered. But we did date for a long time, and you hid your early admission from me. You never treated me like your girlfriend. You wasted so much of my study time and caused me to miss out on MIT. You have a responsibility here. The breakup fee can't be small. Huh. So all of this was just about money? Do you have any shame at all? You act as if you would have gotten into MIT if you hadn't dated me. You know exactly what you're capable of, don't you? The person on the other end sounded like I had just exposed their dirty little secret. She angrily spat out, "Fine, I'll be waiting for you to come crawling back to me," and hung up. Hilarious. Did she really think she was some kind of powerful CEO in a drama? My dad and Mr. Davis had heard everything clearly from the side. This is blackmail. It's blackmail. Alex, can you handle this yourself? If not, we'll step in. It's okay, Dad, I said, waving my hand, a wide smile on my face. You know what your son is capable of. I can handle something this small. Don't worry. Did Beth really think I wouldn't be willing to destroy everything? Or did she think I was so in love with her that I'd do whatever she said? Let's not do anything yet. Let's just wait. I took a look. The drama wasn't big enough yet. If she wanted to play games with me, she had to be ready for the consequences. I told my dad's corporate public relations team not to release a statement yet. We'd wait a couple of days until this whole thing got even bigger. Using the same trick twice? It didn't even work the first time. I don't know if Beth is naive or just stupid. As I expected, I stayed home for 2 days and didn't respond to anything. The online outrage didn't die down. It only got worse. The company's social media pages were flooded with mean comments. On my own profile, no matter how old the post was, the comments were filled with hate. You still have the nerve to have fun? Poor Beth is suffering from depression because of you. So what if you can afford designer bags? Does being rich mean you can do whatever you want? Even the admissions office at MIT called me. The class group chat and the school forums were buzzing with gossip about me and Beth. Michael called me, too, asking if I needed his help. I do. Of course I do. Just as the public outrage reached its peak, I gathered all the evidence I had and released it all at once. The first thing I posted was the full, unedited security footage from the day she tried to frame me. The video clearly showed Beth leaning in to kiss me first, and that I only slapped her in response. I laid out everything. Our chat logs from the 2 years we were dating, receipts for expensive gifts, and proof that I paid for everything when we went out. Some people in the comments were still shouting that my pictures were photoshopped. So I followed up with the breakup text Beth sent me on the day of the exams, her interview video, and my chat history with Michael. It was crystal clear who was in the right and who was in the wrong. The chat logs showed that during our relationship, not only did I shower her with expensive gifts and money, but I also paid for all our dates. She had also found someone else instantly after the breakup, and Michael didn't even know she had been in a relationship. As public opinion slowly started to shift in my favor, I played my final card. I released the recording of the phone call where Beth tried to blackmail me for a breakup fee. The internet was stunned. When they realized they had been used as pawns, they swarmed Beth's social media accounts to condemn her. The Kane Corporation and MIT's official accounts also released statements in a timely manner. All expenditures made by the chairman's son were from his normal profit dividends, which are his personal income, and were not misappropriated from company funds. The group's tax records are all in order. And from MIT, MIT's early admission process adheres to all regulations. Every admitted student's academic record and character are thoroughly reviewed. Alex is not only an exceptional student, but also possesses outstanding moral character, meeting our university's admission standards. With official sources stepping in to debunk the rumors, Beth was completely and utterly exposed. The angry internet users who had been used as her weapons dug up everything about her. They even found her current boyfriend, the college senior from that other top-tier university. The guy was so scared that he immediately broke up with her. Beth, furious, tried to call me but instead received a summons from the court. She was being sued for extortion. She was completely shocked. Beth's parents were just a regular working-class couple. At first, they had no idea what their daughter had done and were proud of her excellent exam scores. It wasn't until people around them started telling them what was going on that they realized what their daughter was capable of. Fortunately, they were sensible. They didn't wait for it to go to court and quickly contacted Mr. Davis privately to arrange an out-of-court settlement. Mr. Davis didn't go easy on them. He demanded a hefty compensation payment and then dropped the lawsuit. The last I heard, Beth and her family moved out of the city to start over somewhere else. Because the scandal was so big, the university that was planning to accept her withdrew its offer. Beth, being arrogant, had only applied to top-tier schools. But besides grades, those schools care a lot about their reputation. None of them dared to accept her. In the end, despite her high score, she was left with no college to attend. I heard she decided to repeat the year. Chris was the one who told me this. The thought of Beth claiming she didn't get into MIT because of me was just hilarious.
Been playing
well, I wish her the
Tekken
best of
8
luck getting into MIT after repeating a year,
hours,
because I'm already here.
Smasher.
In September, I dragged my suitcase to the gates of MIT.
Zest has like
My
over
college
1,000
life was
hours
just
in
beginning.
Battlefield. 90% of it is in menu.
Yep.
What y'all trying to say?
Nothing.
Touch grass.
Fuck you.
He is, while his computer fucking stays on the menu. Oh. Wait. guess it didn't get published. Oh, Printer did ban him. All right.
Yeah, you were just looking at the same thing I was messing with. Yeah, escalation's nice because I think most of your lobbies you get 2 little birds on.
Sweet.
Printer could enlighten us a little bit more with that. I'm not sure. She's the escalation player.
So I did this thing, I think yesterday, and I think I now know how I fully want to take advantage of it. So I dumbed down my resolution from 4K to 1440, and I don't really notice a difference now.
Yeah, no,
So,
most monitors like 1440 is the sweet spot.
I know, but I got a 4K for free,